Christopher Jaynes. I graduated from UMass Amherst in 1999, the very tail end of 1999, and I got a PhD in computer science. I really am interested in discovery and creating things. So I'm not a traditional engineer. I'm definitely not, because if you looked at the way I write code, most of my engineers in my company today would be like, please stop writing code. You know, like you're not great at that. But I am good at wondering if something can work and then writing code to prove or disprove it. And that's really what happens a lot in the computing sciences. It's like, what if gets put out there in the world, right? What if you could, you know, live in a virtual world? Or what would happen, and what kind of display system would support that on your head, you know, and how would you have low latencies? If I had to characterize myself as a computer scientist, I'm one that's interested in the theory of computing, but how it applies to our daily lives and how it impacts the real world. And that's where I really get jazzed, you know, is doing things that change the way people approach things, how they work, how they play, or how they live, you know? CICS launched my career in some big ways. If I look back, it's things like, you know, Ed and Al, my advisors in the department, and there was a culture in the department actually of, you are not only going to be an academic, but you're going to be an academic that matters. And that's huge, you know, and it's kind of, I think that's probably why it resonated with me. It's something that I think is important. So it's like, you know, Ed would have me write grant proposals with him late at night, you know? Like, one day you're going to be a professor. This is not only about you having great ideas or knowing the mathematics behind, you know, kinematics or whatever it is. It's like you got to understand why that matters and how to articulate it to others. And I feel like that was the skill set I picked up big time in graduate school. I don't know if I had it before. I think it came from years of training and being around a culture where that stuff matters, that, you know, it's about how you articulate, how you work with your colleagues, and how you make stuff that's complicated meaningful to other people. It was the day that I decided to leave academics and go all in on this company. So I founded a company called Immersive Technologies. It's now, you know, it's in 300,000 conference rooms in some of the top companies in the world. It's software that just drives user experience in those spaces, and it's based on AI. So it's doing analytics and suggesting good places for you to find and all that stuff to have meetings, and makes people more engaged, right? So to go do that, I had to give up a successful academic career where I was raising money in grants and I was running a visualization center at the University of Kentucky. And that was a huge risk taker moment for me. I mean, it was giving up tenure. But I do think that the seeds were planted when I was in graduate school that what you do should matter. And I felt like my skill set is best applied in the real world with the understanding of, you know, the underpinnings of computer science theory and how you can draw on technology to make it to go somewhere. And I don't think that I could have been successful if I stayed half in, half out. It's like egalitarianism. It gives opportunities to people that couldn't have had them in the past, right? I mean, I've got people that work at my company that went to coding school in Eastern Europe, and now they're leading our entire sales, you know, engineering organization for all of EMEA. That's because they could get hold of technology they never could have done before. I just think that without it, it's much harder to create those linkages, and linkages are key to the human mind, it's key to the human experience.